Hello student, in the last class I discussed with you up to the electrode potential, and today I start again from electrode potential for the revision purpose. I hope you will understand the term before electrode potential. So our today topic is electrode potential. First of all, what is electrode potential? Suppose I have a metal rod in my hand. I have a metal rod in my hand. Until unless this metal rod is in my hand, it is only called as metal rod. And when I put this metal rod into the electrolytic solution of its own kind, then only then the name of this metal rod changed to electrode. Then and only then the name of this metal rod change into electrode. And when this electrode is connected with positive terminal of a battery, then this electrode is called as anode. And when if this electrode is connected with negative terminal of battery, then it is called as cathode. I have already told you that cathode, what is the definition of cathode and anode? Cathode is that terminal through which electrons enters in the electrolytic solution, and anode is that terminal through which electrons leaves the electrolytic solution, which I already discussed with you. Again I revise for you because this is very important. Suppose I have a bucket. I have a bucket. And now I have a bucket like this. Okay, I have a bucket like this, and in this bucket I fill the electrolytic solution. I have filled the electrolytic solution. As for example, CuSO4. As for example, CuSO4. As for example, CuSO4. Okay. CuSO4. Or this CuSO4 is aqueous CuSO4, means dissolved in water. Aqueous CuSO4. Okay. Now, in this aqueous solution of CuSO4, I dip a metallic rod such as copper electrode. Sorry. A copper electrode. Okay. Copper electrode. What is the condition? Listen carefully. I have a aqueous CuSO4 solution, and in this aqueous CuSO4 solution, I dipped a copper electrode. Now what happened? There is two possibilities. Either copper electrode gain positive charge or negative charge. What I say? Either copper electrode gain negative charge or positive charge with respect to the electrolytic solution. It means if electrolytic solution gain positive charge, then copper electrode gain negative charge, and if electrolytic solution gain negative charge, then copper electrode gain positive charge. Okay. Now, what actually happens? Copper electrode gains negative charge. Copper electrode or copper rod gains negative charge, and positive charge gained by electrolytic solution. Means electrolytic solution gain positive charge. Okay, positive charge. positive charge, and copper electrode, copper electrode, copper electrode gain negative charge, negative charge, negative charge. Now see, there is a charge difference. Here is negative charge and electrolytic solution contains positive charge. There is a charge difference which we called as potential difference, which we called as potential difference. Here is negative charge and aqueous solution of CaO4 contains positive charge. It means there is a charge difference which we called as potential difference. The difference between these two charge or potential is called as electrode potential, is called as electrode potential. Okay, means what is electrode potential? What is electrode potential? You can say that electrode potential. What you can say that? Electrode potential. You can say that the difference between charge gained by the electrode electrode is here copper rod by the electrode with respect to the CaO4, with respect to the aqueous CaO4, with respect to the aqueous CaO4, with respect to the aqueous CaO4 is called as electrode potential, is called as electrode potential. Okay, is called as electrode potential. It's very easy thing, is called as electrode potential. Okay, now electrode potential are again of two types. Electrode potential are again of two types. Electrode potential are again of two types. One is called as oxidation potential and another is called as reduction potential. And the symbol for oxidation potential is E, capital E, OP. The symbol of oxidation potential is capital E, OP. And the symbol of reduction potential is capital E, RP. RP means reduction potential. Reduction potential. Okay, is it clear? Okay, now see, what is oxidation potential? What is oxidation potential? If someone asks you what is oxidation potential, then you can reply that the electrode whose oxidation takes place, the electrode whose oxidation takes place. What is the meaning of oxidation? Oxidation means loss of electron. Oxidation means loss of electron. If someone asks that, if someone asks you what is oxidation potential, then you say that, sir, the electrode whose oxidation takes place. Suppose this is the electrode. This is the electrode. In here, my electrode is copper rod. If oxidation of this electrode takes place, it means this rod loses electron. Loses electron. If this metal rod loses electron, it means from this metal rod, cations are coming outside. Cations are coming outside and electrons remains in this rod. And electrons remains in this rod. Means suppose, again listen carefully. This is a metal rod. In my example, this is a copper rod. Okay. If oxidation of this copper rod takes place, then how it can takes? Listen carefully. What happens? The copper rod is made up of copper atoms. Copper atoms loses electrons, 2 electrons, and the copper cations comes from this metal rod to the aqueous CaO4. And the copper cation means Cu2 plus ion from this copper rod comes into the aqueous solution of CaO4 and the 2 electron of copper atom remains in this electrode, and hence this electrode becomes negatively charged. And hence this electrode becomes negatively charged, and because of shifting of copper cations means Cu2 plus ion from this metal rod to the aqueous solution of CuSO4. That is why aqueous CuSO4 becomes positively charged. Copper rod becomes negatively charged and copper sulfate solution becomes positively charged. Therefore, a potential difference develops between copper rod and aqueous CuSO4. This potential difference is called as oxidation potential, which is a type of electrode potential, See, listen this. That electrode whose oxidation takes place determines oxidation potential. What is reduction potential? Reduction potential, listen carefully. Suppose I have a metal rod of zinc. Suppose now this is a metal rod of zinc and I dipped this zinc rod into ZnSO4. Where? ZnSO4. I dip this zinc rod into ZnSO4. Now what happens? Listen carefully. Suppose zinc rod or any rod, not necessary zinc rod, any rod, you can take any rod. Suppose I take any rod. I am not getting specified. I want only say that you can take any rod, and if I dip this rod into ZnSO4 solution or into any aqueous solution of a salt, then suppose this happens, cations coming towards this metal rod, cations, suppose it is zinc cation coming towards this zinc rod and gain electron from zinc rod, then what happens? Reduction takes place. What is reduction? Reduction means gain of electron. Who can gain electron? A cation. A cation can gain electron only because cation is positively charged. Suppose, again I want to say that, suppose some cations coming towards this electrode and gain electron from this metal rod, then reduction of cation takes place. Not the reduction of metal rod. Reduction of cation takes place. Here is written that that electrode where reduction of cation takes place is called as reduction potential. So listen carefully. I revise again. What is oxidation potential? Oxidation potential is a type of electrode potential in which oxidation of metal rod or electrode takes place. What is reduction potential? Reduction potential is a type of electrode potential in which reduction of cation takes place, not the reduction of electrode takes place. That is the difference. Okay. Now I already explained this. What is electrode potential? Now what is the use of knowing the reduction potential, oxidation potential? As I already explained that when a metal rod dipped inside their own electrolytic solution, listen carefully, when a metal rod dipped inside their own electrolytic solution, then that metal rod either develops positive charge or negative charge with respect to the electrolytic solution. And the difference between this potential and therefore a potential difference develops between metal rod and electrolytic solution, and this difference of potential is called as electrode potential. As we already know that when two half cells, means a container contains a electrolytic solution and in that electrolytic solution I dipped a metal rod. Okay. Again I have a container in which another electrolytic solution is present and I dipped a metal rod in that electrolytic solution. The first container is called as half cell and the second container is again called as half cell. And when these two half cells are connected with each other through a metallic wire externally or through a salt bridge, then that whole setup is called as galvanic cells from which we get electricity by the chemical reactions or redox reaction. Okay. So here we are discussing a standard EMF representation. A standard EMF. So before knowing the standard EMF, first of all we have to know that what is a standard electrode potential. What is a standard electrode potential? Before knowing a standard EMF of a cell, EMF is only for a cell, not for a half cell. EMF is only for a full and final cell, but electrode potential is for half cell. Okay, half cell. Before knowing the standard EMF of a cell, first of all we have to know that what is a standard electrode potential. A standard electrode potential. What is a standard electrode potential? Okay. A standard electrode potential. A standard electrode potential. The symbol of a standard electrode potential is capital E naught. Capital E naught. As we already know that electrode potentials are of two types, oxidation potential and reduction potential. Similarly, a standard electrode potentials are again of two types. What are that type? A standard oxidation potential and a standard reduction potential. Okay. So these are again of two types. A standard oxidation potential. OP means oxidation potential, and the symbol for standard oxidation potential is E naught OP. E naught OP. And second is a standard reduction potential, and the symbol of standard reduction potential is E naught RP. E naught RP. Okay. At oxidation potential or standard oxidation potential always takes place at anode. Standard oxidation potential. The term standard oxidation potential is concerned with or attached with anode, and the term standard reduction potential or reduction potential is concerned with or attached with cathode. So concerned with anode, or here it is concerned with cathode. Okay. By knowing the value of standard oxidation potential or standard reduction potential, by knowing the value of standard oxidation potential or standard reduction potential, we can calculate the standard EMF of cell. Standard EMF of cell. What is the meaning of here standard? What is the meaning of here standard? What is the meaning of standard? Meaning of standard. First of all, understand what is the meaning of standard. Standard means standard means temperature must be 298 Kelvin or 25 degree Celsius. Pressure must be 1 atmosphere, and concentration of electrolyte. Whose concentration? Concentration of electrolyte my dear student, concentration of electrolyte, my dear student. What is the concentration of electrolyte? 1 molar. It is compulsory for standard 1 molar. Concentration of electrolyte, as for example CuSO4, AgNO3, any electrolyte, must be 1 molar. Must be 1 molar. If these three conditions are fulfilled, then we can say that our electrode potential is in a standard condition. If these three conditions are fulfilled, that is temperature is 298 Kelvin, pressure is 1 atmosphere and concentration of electrolyte is 1 molar, then only we can say that our electrode potential, that is oxidation potential or reduction potential, is in a standard condition. Is in a standard condition. By combining these standard oxidation potential and standard reduction potential, we can find the standard EMF of the cell. Means standard EMF of cell, whenever we calculate the standard EMF of cell, whenever we calculate the standard EMF of the cell, not non-standard, I am talking about standard EMF. Whenever we calculate the standard EMF of the cell, it is necessary that our electrode potential must follow these three conditions. Then only we can calculate the standard EMF of cell. Okay. Now, a standard EMF of cell means when EMF of cell is calculated at 298 Kelvin, 1 atmospheric pressure and 1 molar concentration, then the EMF of the cell is called as standard EMF of cell. Okay. So, standard EMF of cell, standard EMF of the cell standard EMF of the cell. Standard EMF of the cell. What we can say that if someone asks you what is the standard EMF of cell, you can say that when the EMF of cell is calculated through using a standard oxidation potential or standard reduction potential, then the calculated EMF of cell is called as standard EMF of cell. Or you can say that when the EMF of cell is calculated at 298 Kelvin or 1 atmospheric pressure as well as most important part 1 molar electrolytic solution, then the calculated EMF of the cell is called as standard EMF of cell. What we can say that there are two definitions. When standard EMF of cell, when EMF of cell is calculated by using a standard oxidation potential and below standard reduction potential, by using a standard oxidation potential and by using a standard reduction potential. A standard reduction potential. Then the calculated EMF of cell is called as a standard EMF of cell. Then the calculated EMF of cell is called as a standard EMF of cell. standard EMF of cell, which can symbolize as a standard EMF of cell. This is the one definition. You can also define it as when EMF of cell is calculated at 1 atmospheric pressure, 1 atm pressure, 1 atmospheric pressure at 298 Kelvin, at 298 Kelvin, and 1 molar concentration. This is the most important part, beta. 1 molar concentration. 1 molar concentration. Then only we can say that the calculated EMF is standard EMF. The calculated EMF is the calculated EMF is a standard EMF of the cell. Okay, this is the two definition of standard EMF of cell. You can write anyone. You can in the questions any one of them is given as a option. So be careful by selecting the option. Just see what is the conditions for calculating the EMF of cell. If it is 1 molar concentration, only it is given 1 molar concentration. It means that it is understood. The temperature is 1 atmosphere and the pressure is pressure is 1 atmosphere and the temperature is 298 Kelvin. So I want to say that if in the questions only written as 1 molar concentration of electrolyte, 1 molar concentration of electrolyte, what you can say, what you understand? You can understand that at 1 molar concentration, it is common sense that it is commonly said that the temperature is 298 Kelvin and pressure is 1 atmosphere. Not it is necessarily that written, not it is necessarily written as pressure is 1 atmosphere, temperature is 298 Kelvin. It is not necessary to write. So it is only in the questions it is only written that 1 molar concentration. Okay, you understand that it is a standard. This is the standard condition. Okay. Now come to the point. There are 3 methods. To calculate the standard EMF of the cell. There are 3 methods to calculate the standard EMF of cell. How many methods? 3 methods. To what calculate? For what calculation? Standard EMF of cell. Can we say that there are 3 methods for the calculation of non-standard EMF of cell? No. Non-standard EMF of cell cannot be calculated by 3 methods. Only a standard EMF of the cell can be calculated by 3 methods. Suppose in the questions the concentration of electrolyte is not equal to 1 molar, then it means that our electrode potential or our calculated EMF is not in a standard condition. Okay. Then if our electrode potential or the concentration of electrolyte is not in a standard condition, then how can we calculate the EMF of cell? Not you can say that a standard EMF. In non-standard condition, we only say that EMF of the cell, but in a standard condition, we can say that a standard EMF of cell. Okay. I want to say that, listen carefully, I want to say that if I have an electrolytic solution whose concentration is not equal to 1 molar, then can we say that it is a standard condition? No, it is not a standard condition, it is non-standard condition. Okay. In non-standard condition, we can calculate the EMF of the cell by using Nernst equation, which we see that in this chapter. But if we have 1 molar concentration of electrolyte, then only then we can calculate the standard EMF of cell by 3 methods. Okay. There are 3 methods. 3 methods, my dear student. There are 3 methods for calculation of a standard EMF of cell. For calculation of a standard EMF of cell, this is the symbol of a standard EMF of cell. There are 3 methods for calculation of a standard EMF of cell. Before knowing these 3 methods, I want to write one notable point. Note that according to IUPAC, oxidation potential can be represented in terms of reduction potential, and reduction potential can also be represented in terms of oxidation potential, according to IUPAC. No? A standard oxidation potential can be written like that: negative of a standard reduction potential, and a standard reduction potential can be written like that: negative of a standard oxidation potential. This rule was set by IUPAC, not me. This rule was set by IUPAC. As we already know that oxidation potential is concerned with anode and reduction potential is concerned with cathode. Okay. This is the norms which was set by IUPAC. Now, I am going to write first method. How can we calculate the standard EMF of the cell? First method for calculating the standard EMF of cell. First method for calculation of standard EMF of cell. Okay, standard EMF of cell. See carefully what I want to say. By using a standard oxidation potential and a standard reduction potential. This is the first method. By using a standard oxidation potential and a standard reduction potential. Therefore, we can write like that: a standard EMF of cell is equal to a standard oxidation potential of anode plus a standard reduction potential of cathode. I suggest that always use this method for calculation of a standard EMF of cell. This is my personal suggestion that always use this method for calculation of a standard EMF of cell. Okay. Second method, when a standard electrode potentials are represented only in terms of a standard oxidation potential. When a standard electrode potential, when a standard electrode potential, electrode potential, a standard electrode potential is only represented in terms of standard oxidation potential. Represented in terms of a standard oxidation potential, standard oxidation potential. This is the second method. In this method, we can write like that: a standard EMF of cell is equal to a standard oxidation potential of anode plus minus a standard oxidation potential of cathode. Minus of a standard oxidation potential means minus of a standard oxidation potential means minus of a standard oxidation potential. Minus of a standard oxidation potential means the, listen, see here, minus of a standard oxidation potential means standard reduction potential. So here I write like that: standard oxidation potential of anode plus minus of a standard oxidation potential, which means a standard reduction potential of cathode. Anode part in the galvanic cell rearrangement. Anode part in the galvanic cell rearrangement always kept in left hand side. Always kept in left hand side. I again repeat that. Repeat. Listen carefully. Anode part in the galvanic cell rearrangement is always kept in left hand side. Therefore, we can also write like that: a standard left and cathode part in the galvanic cell rearrangement is always kept in right hand side, E not right. Therefore, this formula can also be used for the calculation of standard EMF of cell by using second method. Third method. When a standard electrode potential is only represented in terms of a standard reduction potential. When a standard electrode potential is only represented in terms of a standard reduction potential. Then in that case, we can write like that: a standard EMF of cell is equal to a standard reduction potential of cathode plus minus standard reduction potential of anode. Therefore, we can also write that I already told you that cathode in the galvanic cell rearrangement is always kept in right hand side. Cathode in the galvanic cell rearrangement is always kept in right hand side, and anode in the galvanic cell rearrangement is always kept in left hand side. Here is cathode written first, therefore we can write like the E naught right minus E naught left. This is the third method. So by using these three method, you can calculate the standard EMF of the cell, but not by using these three method you can calculate the non-standard EMF of the cell. Non-standard EMF of the cell. Non-standard EMF of cell can only be calculated by Nernst equation, and a standard EMF of cell can be calculated by using these three methods. You can select any one of the method for the calculation of a standard EMF of the cell. Okay, but my personal suggestion is that always use first method for the calculation of a standard EMF of cell. In this lecture, I stop here, and in next lecture, I start next interesting part of electrochemistry. If you have any confusion, you can free to ask me, okay, in next video. Thank you very much.